Welcome to another episode of the ADP Show. I'm Dan. With me, Ryan McDowell. You can find him at RyanMC23. I'm at DMEYLOR22. That's D Myler 22. The two of us, we are part of Dynasty League Football. We like to talk about ADP, Ryan. You're one of the guys, or really the guy that collects all this ADP data for DynastyLeagueFootball.com. And lately, you've been collecting Startup Dynasty ADP.
That's right. We just posted our May ADP over at DLF. Again, that's collected from six mock drafts. We do those every month. Typically start the first day of the month, and they're 20 rounds each, so they take a couple weeks to get done. Just posted that a couple days ago, and I thought we'd talk about the rookies. We've been talking rookies on the first couple episodes of this series, and that's all the talk this time of year, right? That's what everybody wants to hear. So even though we all have a lot of rookie drafts going on, there's also a lot of startup drafts going on, and the rookies are mixing in there and sometimes mixing in a lot earlier than expected.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about on today's episode of the ADP Show. Of course, on top of all that ADP content that you can find over at DynastyLeagueFootball.com, there's regular content hitting the site every single day. We're doing player profiles on all these players, giving advice on what Dynasty owners should try to be doing to capitalize on the market right now, especially with these rookie drafts happening. But like you said, Ryan, we're going to talk about this startup ADP and how these rookies are mixing in. So we thought we'd go round by round. There were 19 rookies taken in the top 100, at least according to the ADP that you gather, Ryan. Before we get into each one of them individually, you kind of alluded to it. Some of these guys a little higher than we're used to, or maybe we expect. That's probably a trend that has been moving up in recent years, but certainly has hit a crescendo this year.
Yeah, it really has. And there's been a lot of hype for this class in the months, and we could almost say years leading up until their arrival to the league. So in some ways, it's kind of shocking to see the ADP of some of these rookies and to hear basically a fifth of the top 100 are made up of rookies. I mean, that's crazy to really fathom. But when you look at the individual players, you think about where they should be valued compared to veterans. It does kind of make sense. I get it.
And that's something we're going to do here, Ryan. We're going to compare some of these guys, look at the players drafted immediately before and after these rookies. So let's dig right in. We got to start right at the top. We'll go round by round. And there's one rookie that sneaks into round one of Startup ADP, Ryan.
Yeah, every month we post ADP, there seems to be one headliner. Maybe it's a player that's been in the news, a player that's rising or falling quite a bit, but there usually seems to be one player that gets everyone talking in the Dynasty community. And that this month, that is certainly Clyde EdwardsHelaire. We've talked about him on the past couple episodes, that his first round draft capital and landing with the Chiefs has obviously boosted his stock a ton. And specifically in this case, it's moved it all the way into round one of startup drafts. He was the 12th pick, so just snuck in to that first round. I remember when we collected this data a couple of years ago, Saquon Barkley was a first rounder as a rookie. Ezekiel Elliott was a first rounder as a rookie with his prime landing spot in Dallas a few years ago. And now it's Clyde EdwardsHelaire. Most of the feedback I've heard is that's way too early. That's way too early to take him. And I get it. But I think he would be, if not a first rounder, firmly in that second round. In fact, Dan, you and I drafted him in the second round, drafted Clyde EdwardsHelaire in the second round of a startup, and we were happy to do so. So I wouldn't say it's way too early. It's kind of a shock to the system to see him as a first rounder. But if he was the 2-2 instead of the 112, I don't think we would actually hear much about it. In this case, he is the 112. He's between Chris Godwin and Nick Chubb. And essentially, I think you can take the end of the first round all the way through that second round as one giant tier. So if it's Nick Chubb and Clyde EdwardsHelaire flipping spots, again, there wouldn't be a lot of discussion about that. But I think we're just looking at about 15 players there that have very similar value, and Clyde EdwardsHelaire just happens to be the one we're really focusing on this month.
I like what you said there, Ryan. Shock to the system. And if he were a second-round pick, maybe there wouldn't be so much noise about it. I think a lot of the naysayers out there might point to how Barkley and Zeke, they came out as premier-type prospects before the draft. We really wanted those guys. Couldn't wait to see where they landed. They had that top-5 type draft equity as well. EdwardsHelaire, a little different, was seen as the third or fourth guy on most Dynasty experts' lists, and then landed in that prime spot, barely sneaking into the first round of the NFL draft. So there's a little bit of difference. I can certainly see the skepticism or the hesitation, but nevertheless, a first-round pick in DLF Startup ADP. Let's talk about round 2, the rookies that sneak in here. We're talking about a few more rookie running backs.
Yeah, so in a normal year, your top rookie, your 1.01 rookie, historically will be a second-round pick. This year, as we already said, right now he's a late first-rounder. But to back that up, we have 3 other guys in the second round, 4 rookies, all 4 running backs in the top 24 players being drafted right now. Again, we've used some of the same words: surprising, a shock to the system. And that's the case again. The next one is Jonathan Taylor. He's 14th overall, so he is the 2.02. He's being drafted almost right behind Clyde EdwardsHelaire. He's between Nick Chubb and Josh Jacobs, a couple of running backs, ironically, that have maybe some limitations in PPR leagues, and that's also the concern with Jonathan Taylor there at the top of the second. So he's in a group of his peers right now. J.K. Dobbins is next. He's right in the middle of round 2, 18th overall, between Miles Sanders and George Kittle. DeAndre Swift finishes out that group as the 4th running back drafted, the 4th rookie drafted, 24th overall. So just sneaking into round 2 and being drafted between Patrick Mahomes and Austin Eckler.
Yeah, really a solid group, those 3 guys. Really the 3 guys that most were excited about going into the NFL draft. To see them all as second-round picks in Startup ADP speaks to how excited Dynasty owners were to get this new crop of running backs and the amount of talent that the group has as a whole. In round 3, Ryan, according to DLF ADP, we kick it off with another running back, and then our first rookie wide receiver sneaks into round 3 as well.
Yes, 2 more rookies in round 3. So we're now at a total of 6 in the top 36 players. Cam Akers is the first. He's the RB5, being drafted 30th overall, right in the middle of round 3. He's being valued between a couple of veteran wide receivers, Amari Cooper and Kenny Golladay. And then the next rookie is the first wide receiver, as you mentioned, CeeDee Lamb, 36th overall. So we've got a theme: the 112, Clyde EdwardsHelaire, 212, DeAndre Swift, and now the 3.12 is CeeDee Lamb. Rookies finishing up each round of our first 3. CeeDee Lamb's being drafted between Travis Kelce and DK Metcalf, and he is the 6th rookie off the board. I know some people like to look at ADP and think about trades, and it can certainly help you start thinking about trades. I can't imagine trading DK Metcalf for a mid-first round rookie pick, though.
Yeah, something seems just a little bit off there for sure. So we're through those top 6, and they all fall in the first 3 rounds of that startup ADP. In round 4, we're kind of get used to seeing multiple names here. Just one rookie in round 4. We get to Jerry Jeudy, who falls in the middle of round 4, Ryan.
Right, and it shouldn't be a surprise. We talk about the top 7 being a tier, or maybe if you want to break that up into smaller tiers, but a pretty clear top 7, with Jerry Jeudy often being the 7th. That's the case here in the 4th round, 43 overall. And this is one of the cases where you look at the veterans, and I'm a little surprised Jeudy actually wasn't higher. He's being drafted between Keenan Allen and Kenyon Drake. I think those are players whose value right now is is kind of a little tenuous. I can't imagine getting a mid-first rounder for either one of those guys, actually. So a little bit of a surprise personally for me that Jeudy is even this low, which is kind of crazy to say, as the seventh rookie in the top 43 overall.
Yeah, 7th overall. And as you mentioned, that group of 7, the big 7 that a lot of us Dynasty owners are trying to trade up to get into and grab one of these guys in rookie drafts. It seems like if you're interested in grabbing a pile of these guys in the first 4 rounds of your startup auction or draft, I should say, it's a possibility to get 2, maybe even 3, maybe even 4 of these guys if you stack your draft correctly. Beyond that, Ryan, we get into round 5. And we start talking about the rest of these receivers, that group that you see at the end of round 1 in rookie drafts right now. I'm talking about Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, and T. Higgins. They all fall in round 5 of the most recent DLF startup ADP.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with comparing this data to rookie ADP data is how similar it is, which is kind of a surprise. Sometimes you'll see some differences. Maybe you'll see tight ends or quarterbacks rise higher in startup ADP compared to where they might be drafted amongst other rookies in rookie drafts. You'll see running backs rise as well. But in this case, this really looks like the order you might see of a rookie draft. And after that top 7, it is a run on wide receivers, as you mentioned, with Reagor, Jefferson, and T. Higgins all as 5th rounders. Feels a little rich for a couple of those. Jefferson being drafted ahead of Terry McLaurin specifically was a surprise for me. And really T. Higgins in the 5th round at all was a little bit of a surprise. But again, you look at who he's being drafted between David Montgomery, Melvin Gordon. Try to get a first rounder for those guys in your league. Good luck with that.
Yeah, not going to happen in most leagues, at least the leagues that we play in, Ryan. Beyond that, we continue with really looking at that rookie ADP. It continues on. Henry Ruggs, Keyshawn Vaughn, Michael Pittman, Denzel Mims all landed round 6. After that, we see Brandon Ayuk, Laviska Shenault in round 7. Then we finally hit that first quarterback, Joe Burrow, which is kind of a surprise, Ryan, because when we talked about rookie ADP over the last couple of weeks on the ADP show, Joe Burrow was a first-round rookie pick. He slips all the way to the, 16th or 17th rookie taken in startup ADP, so a little bit of a change there.
Yeah, 17th rookie drafted, and honestly, that's kind of more in line with what we would expect to see in rookie drafts. We've discussed Burrow as more of a mid-second rounder rather than a late first or early second rounder. So that's I would say that's in line with expectations. But now here we are, 17 rookies in, and we're still inside the top 100, specifically the top 95. And it really is just mind-blowing that run on wide receivers in the 5th and 6th round. Throw Keyshawn Vaughn in there as a potential starting running back of the Buccaneers. And just in that group of 24 players from the 5th and 6th round, you're talking about 7 of those guys being rookies.
Yeah, so much talent in this rookie class, Ryan, and it's starting to spread into this startup ADP that we gather over at dynastyleaguefootball.com. If you have a second, click on over, check it out. Lots of great content there. Ryan's one of the partners of the site. I'm a senior writer at DLF. We get together once a week to do what we just did, the ADP show. We also do the DLF Dynasty podcast. If you're into that, check us out there. For Ryan, I'm Dan. Thanks for watching this episode of the ADP show. We'll catch you again next week.